Cellular phones have existed for almost 30 years. Within that short lifespan, their numbers have increased from about 500,000 in 1985 to an estimated 7.1 billion in 2014, more than the entire population of the world. In this video, Team 2 will attempt to explain this rapidly growing technology and how it impacts the future.
Mobile communications technology. It all started with Alexander Bell's invention of the photophone in 1880. It was the first wireless telephone message. But then, in 1899, Marconi ushered in the era of practical mobile radio communications with his ship-to-shore transmission. By 1929, commercial radio telephony on ships was used by the passengers in their own staterooms. Motorola's 1964 two-way radio led the industry forward towards true mobility. By the mid-80s, luxury cars were seen with this car phone, but its popularity was short-lived to make way for even more mobility. As with this Siemens offering that came with a handy suitcase attachment for the more image-conscious consumer, as the spotlight was centered on the explosion of the truly mobile cell phone that could actually be held in your hand. In '89, the real craze was the Motorola Microtac. With its features and look, you could actually speak and listen at the same time, and have a little style.
Thanks, Michelle. Now we'll discuss cell phone technology and desirability. What makes smartphones so desirable, you ask? Cell phones have become an essential part of our everyday lives. Not only do they allow the convenience of being able to place phone calls wherever you are, but they also have put the internet in our pockets, allowing for a constant stream of information into our lives. Cell phones have gone from being big, bulky telephones simply capable of placing telephone calls to miniature computers. Facebook, Twitter, and Netflix are just a few of the standard applications downloaded on a daily basis by people with smartphones. Cell phone technology has become a staple in the lives of nearly everyone. The younger generation is learning the technology as well. Certain aspects of mobile technology are being marketed to the youth on a daily basis. Kids as young as 3 are learning how to use smartphones. Workplaces are starting to jump on the same bandwagon by forcing the older generation to learn the new technology, either for personal or professional use. Michelle spoke about the history of cell phones. Now let's briefly examine their impact on culture. Our cell phones have become our one-stop shop for many of our digital needs. Everything from looking at a map or GPS, to digitally messaging others, to managing our calendars, checking something quickly over the internet, or simply checking the date and time can be done with the use of our cell phones. To quote Penn State Worthington professor Mr. Banaszak, "I would have never guessed that the day would come where you ask someone what time it is and they pull out a phone." Next, we'll discuss how cell phones and cellular data networks work. According to the United Nations, over 6 billion people worldwide have access to cell phones. Very few people know exactly how a cell phone works to transmit voice and data around the world. All cell phones, from flip phones to next-gen smartphones, have 9 basic components. A digital output allows the user to see localized data, like a number being typed or a new text message. A digital input allows the user to enter data. On a basic cell phone like the one pictured, the digital input is the keypad. On smartphones, the digital input is usually a touchscreen. The analog input and output transmit and receive sound through speakers and microphones. This raw voice data is sent to the transmission circuitry, where it is converted from analog to digital data. The processor handles the computational tasks of the phone and communicates with the cell phone network. The antenna transmits and receives digital signals, usually at frequencies around 800 and 1900 MHz. The battery provides power for all the cell phone's activities. Finally, no cell phone is complete without a case. Cell phones communicate with base stations, like the one pictured here. Each base station has a triangular structure on top, with antennas pointing in 3 directions. Base stations are arranged at angles of 135 degrees from other base stations. This creates a hexagonal network of cells, which give complete coverage over a wide area. Each base station communicates with 3 cells. This greatly multiplies the number of people that can use the cell phone network at one time. In the next section, we'll discuss current cell phone issues.
As of 2011, there were 320 million cell phone subscriptions in the U.S. As more people invest their time using their cellular phones, the more unforeseen issues that will arise that are attributed to the use of this sophisticated technology. Electromagnetic radiation, also known as EMR, from cell phones and the tower-based antennas carrying the signals have been linked to the development of brain tumors, genetic damage, sleep disorders, and headaches. And the government regulator and the cell phone industry understands the dangers, but they refuse to admit that the new phenomenon texting, which is sending a text message using your mobile phone, has been said to be leading to anxiety, distraction in school, failing grades, repetitive stress injury, and sleep deprivation. A survey involving students at 2 high schools had results that students routinely send hundreds of texts every day. Cell phones overall in school have been linked to cheating, drugs and gang activity, disruption in classes, and students taking pictures of other students changing clothes or students' private areas. The final issue that will be mentioned is the concerns that cell phone usage while driving increases the risk of traffic collisions, property damage, injuries, and fatalities. People who use cell phones while driving are likely to be in a car accident, and this is because a person using a cell phone while driving reduces the amount of brain activity associated with driving by 37%. Even hand-free phones can be distracting to drivers because drivers who use handheld devices are 4 times more likely to get into crashes. And for the new crave of texting, it has also been a major source of distraction for motorists.
Nanotechnology will revolutionize the mobile phone industry by allowing phones to operate for longer periods of time on a smaller battery. The Morph phone uses nanotechnology to create a flexible body and transparent screen that can be molded to whatever shape is the most convenient for its user. The nanotech could even clean itself. The Nokia concept is made of memory plastic that can be molded to fit around a wrist and then can be heated to return to its original shape. The window phone concept will reflect current weather conditions on the screen. To input text, you just blow on the screen to switch modes, then write with your finger as a stylist. The Packet phone won first place at the Istanbul Design Week 2007. The tiny phone starts off at 5 centimeters square, then folds out as needed for a different function.
Thanks, Jason. We hope you have enjoyed our take on the history, technology, risks, and future of cellular phones.